Rhode Island's congressional delegation reacting to the invasion of Ukraine.
12 News spoke to Senator Jack Reed, chair of the Senate Armed Services Committee today. ANITA BAFFONI joins us now in studio with what he had to say. ANITA?
Well, Mike and Shannon, the invasion of Ukraine is a breach of peace, the most pronounced since the end of World War II. That's what Rhode Island's U.S. Senator Jack Reed said, who is chair of the Senate Armed Services Committee.
Reaction from Rhode Island leaders is pouring in. Senator Jack Reed, chair of the Senate Armed Services Committee, says this differs from past conflicts at the hands of Russian President Vladimir Putin.
He's not operating under the same sort of limiting rules that both sides tried to observe during the Cold War.
Reed says the first step in the U.S. response is strong sanctions, since U.S. troops in Ukraine is not yet on the table.
This is historic, recreation of the Russian Empire.
Sanctions against Russia may not be enough to have Putin change course. That's what one Brown University professor of international affairs said.
If Putin wins, he's going to be able to define the character of the world as one defined by brute force, not by the rule of law.
Nikolai Petro is a political science professor at the University of Rhode Island. Having lived and worked in Ukraine, Petro gave insight on one reason the conflict began.
Russia has argued that this is a very sad but necessary measure because the West and NATO crossed every one of Russia's red lines.
Now, Senator Jack Reed is urging all Americans to leave the Ukraine who are there because he says the U.S. doesn't have the capacity to go in and bring them home. I'm ANITA BAFFONI, 12 News.
And Rhode Island Senator Jack Reed says Putin's invasion of Ukraine may be the most serious breach of peace since World War II.
12 News reporter ANITA BAFFONI has reaction from the senator and why he feels this is different than the brinksmanship of the Cold War. ANITA?
Well, Mike and Shannon, Rhode Island's U.S. Senator Jack Reed, chair of the Senate Armed Services Committee, said Vladimir Putin made clear he wants to take back Soviet countries. But this conflict is different because Reed says Putin isn't following the rules both sides observed during the Cold War.
There are worries Russia's President Vladimir Putin won't stop with Ukraine.
Putin is reverting back, unfortunately, and not just to the Soviet Union, but to the Tsarism. He is talking about the foundation of Russia.
Senator Jack Reed is chair of the Senate Armed Services Committee. With no plans to have U.S. troops on the ground in Ukraine, Reed says sanctions are the first step in the U.S. response.
You want to avoid is the danger of escalation, either deliberately or, in many cases, accidentally, you could have conflict spring outside of the Ukraine.
But some don't think sanctions are enough. That's the stance of Michael Kennedy, a professor of sociology and international affairs at Brown University. Kennedy says a reason for the Ukrainian invasion is because Putin believes Ukraine is part of Russia, not its own nation, moving beyond what began as a territory conflict.
And he wants to restore what Russia was like, what the Soviet Union was like at the end of the Cold War. He's a vain man.
And those sanctions President Biden is imposing are targeting Russian banks, oligarchs, and state-controlled companies. The rest of Rhode Island's congressional delegation are also condemning the attack and had a similar message. I'm ANITA BAFFONI, 12 News.